The music is going. We're vibing. Hopefully you guys can still hear it in the background. It's Chief. It's TJ. It's a Showdown pre-live show, baby. Oh, I still got my my phone charger around my neck. Don't need that there. Sorry, guys. I guess I start the show with an accessory. Today on QVC, we have an iPhone block that's fully detachable. As you can see, we have a gray charging cable. This charging cable is about 2 feet long. It can withstand rain, wind, sleet, snow. It's all-purpose, all-terrain. You can throw this thing outside and run over it with a dump truck, and this thing won't break. And you can get it for the very low cost of $9.95. And guess what? With our Christmas special, you'll have this thing before Christmas. And if you buy it today, you'll get free shipping and handling. And not one, not two, but 3 of the all-purpose charging cables at a cost to you of $9.99. All right, folks, we're in. That's my fun for today. TJ, Showdown pre-lock, coming in hot. How you doing, brother?
Doing pretty well. You know, they didn't go exactly my way. I was light on Saquon. I didn't have any Jonathan Taylor, and I didn't have any Falcons defense, and those were kind of the slate breaking plays today. But I still had some Chuba, I had some Connor, a little bit of, a lot of Jahmyr Gibbs and Bijan Robinson. So it was still a pretty good day. Mac Jones waking up here a little bit in the second half finally. So that got things going for me. So a fine main slate today, but could have been better. You know, it's annoying when you get it all right, except for like defense.
Yeah, for sure. And I wonder if I had some. Now I think I had the. I was more heavily exposed to the Cincinnati defense.
Yeah,
which did fine in there, right? I mean, they had 18 fantasy points, but nobody else really got going for me. I had Gibbs and Connor and Thomas, and obviously Thomas is doing fine right now. But generally speaking, I just didn't kind of get it going either. But that's okay. We're going to move on to tonight, TJ. We're hopping right into DraftKings, and it is captain time. Who do you have at captain? Who's your one captain that's your must play? And then we'll get into some of the alternates.
So I think it's pretty spread out. I think you have a lot of different options you can go with on this slate. I think from a optimal perspective, I'm probably going Mike Evans, CeeDee Lamb, or Baker Mayfield. Those are the 3 guys in a single entry. You want to make sure that you're either doubling up or getting in the money. Those are the 3 that I'd be looking to go with: Lamb, Evans, or Mayfield. But I think my favorite guy to go with in tournaments today, I'm just going to run one lineup because it's a birthday party for my sister tonight. So that's where I'm headed to right after here. And so I'm just going to run one lineup. I'm not going to get super crazy with it. And I think the guy that I want to roll with in my captain position, showing up with some positive leverage, it's Bucky Irving.
Okay, Bucky Irving. Interesting. Don't hate Bucky. I mean, he's a guy, obviously, if they give him, 60, 70% of the work, he's a guy that can really get rolling, even in the passing game. So I don't hate that call at all. I think my one guy tonight is not the most expensive guy, obviously. Mike Evans, I feel like, is the captain that everybody wants to play for the narrative street reason, TJ. Like, hey, we want to make sure we get him his 1,000-yard season again. And so I'm sure they will, because of what he's done for that organization and kind of given his whole career to that organization. I'm sure they will try to pepper him with targets. Obviously, with Chris Godwin being out for his extensive period of time and Cade Otton being out, feels like it's going to be Mike Evans SZN season. But Mike Evans is actually not my top captain today. And here's why. I actually think the Buccaneers might be a better football team. And I think just going down just a little bit to CeeDee Lamb, who should have to get going late in this game. I think he's a really good one. I feel like receivers are always big parts of captain ownership and can typically guide you to some tournament winning lineups. So I do like CeeDee Lamb quite a bit tonight in this game. So want to put that out there. And then in terms of let's call it my most interesting captain, if you will, TJ, is I don't have one. I feel like it's Evans, CeeDee Lamb, probably Baker Mayfield. I feel like one of those three is the optimal captain. And maybe I'm wrong, but I think I'm right there. Anything extra for you at the captain position?
No, I don't think so. If you're running an absolute ton of lineups, I think you can try for Brandon Aubrey or Chase McLaughlin. I think you could go super crazy and try one of these punt plays all the way at the bottom so you can load up. I never mind trying a super cheap captain play like a Sterling Shepard or maybe all the way down to this $200 tight end that we have when there are tons of spend ups to get. So I know I want to play Mike Evans, CeeDee Lamb, Baker Mayfield, and the running backs in this game. Maybe even Cooper Rush, who's probably going to be another very low-owned captain. So because of that, I don't mind trying a super cheap captain and then loading up on like Evans, Lamb, Mayfield, Irving, all in the same lineup.
Yep, don't hate that call at all. TJ, we are moving to the flex position. Let's start with the quarterbacks. We're just going to kind of start top down this week. Obviously, we've got Baker Mayfield. We've got Cooper Rush. And I think we feel like Baker Mayfield is a better play than Cooper Rush. But also, Cooper Rush is not as expensive. And, believe it or not, he's had a couple of good games here over this 5-game stretch, TJ. So how are you feeling about a cheaper Cooper Rush versus Baker Mayfield? Are you playing them both? Do you like one better than the other? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, so I like Cooper Rush as a contrarian captain because I don't think many people are going to go there. But at flex, he is cheap. So if I have 8,900 or less remaining, I'm totally fine plugging in Cooper Rush there. But because his flex ownership is so similar to Baker Mayfield, if I'm choosing one, it's definitely Mayfield in this spot, like by far. And if I'm leaving out a QB, I'm fine with it being Rush. You can play Lamb without Rush. You can play Lamb and Dowdle together. You can play even 2 pass catchers without Rush in this spot. I am going to prioritize both Bucky Irving and Rachaad White over Cooper Rush today. But having said that, that still doesn't mean I dislike him. Like, this is a game with a lot of possible spend ups.
Yeah, for sure. I like them both. Obviously, I was talking about CeeDee Lamb, so I don't mind Cooper Rush. I will have some Baker Mayfield and obviously some we'll be playing both of them. And I don't mind playing, like, I feel like I don't have to pair Rush with Lamb. I feel like I could play Baker Mayfield on the other side of that with some pass catchers also. So I think you can kind of get creative at the quarterback position tonight. I don't know if I play them both together. I'm not saying it won't work because it could, but I think I'd just be playing one tonight. All right, moving to running back, TJ. We've got 2 or 3 guys that we feel like are going to own most of the backfield on both sides. That's Dowdle, that's Bucky Irving, that's Rachaad White. And they're all kind of grouped together. Like Dowdle is 9,400 on DraftKings. Bucky Irving is 9K, and Rachaad White is 8K. So they're grouped together similarly. How are you feeling about the running backs? Do you like one of those more than the other?
I will say one of my favorite player props of the night is Rico Dowdle to have more than 11.5 receiving yards. But I do think he actually falls behind Bucky Irving and Rachaad White for me in this spot. I'm fine playing Irving and White together, but I know I want to get at least one of them in every single lineup that I'm playing today. I am only playing one, but if I were playing more, I'd want one of them in every single lineup I'm playing today. Rico Dowdle is still a high priority on this slate. I would put him above Cooper Rush, below the Tampa Bay players, but he falls below Bucky Irving and Rachaad White for me, just because I think Tampa's going to have a much easier time moving the ball. And if Dallas is moving the ball well, I think it's going to be through the air.
Okay. All right. I do like Rico Dowdle because I feel like his workload is secure. I think that's one good reason to like him. He's had a really solid workload over the past few weeks. TJ, 25 carries, 18 carries, 22 carries, 19 carries. Like he's really piled up the work. So that's one of the reasons I like him. And so, if he gets anything close to that today, I think we could see, a nice performance from him. I don't think we'll have any other random running back plays, at least not for me. Like, I don't think I'm playing Ezekiel Elliott for what it's worth, like stuff like that. I don't think that's what we need to do today. TJ, are you in agreement there?
Yeah, 100%. I'm not going to be messing around with the Zekes and stuff like that today.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Moving to wide receiver. Now, here's where it's going to get interesting. We've talked about Mike Evans, obviously. We talked about CeeDee Lamb. Obviously, those are guys that we want to play. Let's talk about the Shepherds. The Jonathan Mingos, the Jalen Tolberts, the Brandon Cooks. Like, any of those guys standing out to you more than the next one?
McMillan is going to be the guy that I think I like the best of the wide receiver 2s and 3s today. Obviously, Mike Evans and CeeDee Lamb are the priorities. Pick one. They're both going to be absolutely great. Ideally, try and get both, but I would want to get at least one of those guys in each lineup that I play as well. McMillan's going to be the next priority for me. Of the cheap options, I think Kevontae Turpin and Sterling Shepard would be the two that I want to get to the most. No Cade Otton tonight, so Sterling Shepard might get a few more targets in the slot. And then Kevontae Turpin, even though he doesn't get a ton of snaps, he's a guy that can break one at any point. He gets high value targets, so he doesn't get a lot of snaps, but he gets touches when he's out there because they want to get him the ball because he's one of the very fastest players in the entire NFL. I like Kevontae Turpin quite a bit. Tolbert is probably going to be the odd man out for me. Cooks, if I have sub 7K remaining, I'm totally fine with playing him.
Yep, totally get it. And I do like TJ. I do like Sterling Shepard quite a bit tonight for the very same reasons you mentioned. The Cade Otton situation. Like, we've seen him get 6 or 7 targets in games before, like prior to last week. Who's to say that couldn't happen yet again? And I totally agree with you on McMillan. He's probably the best secondary receiver on the slate. I did see someone in the chat mention Brandon Cooks. I think Brandon Cooks is just okay. I don't think I'd play him over McMillan, but I also think I wouldn't not play him. I wouldn't have him in my player pool. So he's definitely a guy I think you need to have in your pool just in case. He could fail, TJ, or he could help you excel. If he gets you 6 fantasy points, like, it's not going to help you at all. If he gets you 15, he's probably going to be something close to optimal. So just wanted to point that out. All right, moving to tight end. We do have a few tight ends tonight, TJ, but we got Ferguson, and then on the other side, like
a bunch of $200 guys.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So how are we sifting through the mud here and deciding which one of these tight ends we want to play?
So I think definitely the top tight end option is Payne Durham at 200. The guy expected to step in and start for Cade Otton. Now, Otton hadn't been getting a lot of targets recently since Mike Evans came back, but Payne Durham for $200, all he needs is a catch, and you're fine. If he gets a touchdown, you're optimal. So, especially with so many options to pay up for today, I think Payne Durham's going to be the very first choice. Jake Ferguson is so cheap that I do think he's a really great play today as well. And then this is strictly if you're running a lot of lineups, specifically in the large field stuff where there's a lot of money to first place. That's when I think you take your shots on Keeft, what a name, and Devin Culp, another fun name, because we don't know for sure that Payne Durham is just going to come in, get a bunch of snaps, take the Cade Otton role. This could be a rotation between these 3 guys. Maybe Durham ends up being a big blocking guy, and one of these other 2 ends up catching a pass. Maybe it is Durham who gets all the snaps, but one of these other 2 gets a play action in a 2 tight end sets in a goal line formation and catches one. So because they're only $2 and Durham is the one picking up all the ownership, I definitely think Keeft, Devin Culp, especially Keeft, are viable in tournaments. For what it's worth, I'm only playing one lineup though, and Payne Durham is in it.
Okay, Payne Durham, $200. I don't hate that at all. TJ, we can do worse than Payne Durham for $200. I mean, we've played some people that may have only gotten 10% of the snaps before. Yeah, obviously we can play a guy that we think is going to pick up some a reasonable amount of work in passing game.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I'm in the exact same page, and like he could put up a 0 and we could still cash because he's $200.
Yep. Totally agree. All right, TJ, we are moving to one of my favorite positions on Showdown. That's the kicker position. Brandon Aubrey. My goodness, this guy has been really good most games this season. I don't see any reason to not be playing kickers today. Brandon Aubrey's got to be the top of your list. Like, he's borderline captain consideration if this game is tight, TJ. This is a guy that can kick 250 yarders, a 40 yarder, for another, like, he could pile up 15 fantasy points here. Okay, maybe not captain consideration, which, I mean, would allow you to kind of basically pile up on everyone else. But bottom line, I think Brandon Aubrey is a great flex play today just because of his ability. Not to take away from Chase McLaughlin, who will have his opportunities, I think, also. But obviously, Brandon Aubrey, man, he's just got a leg on him. How are you feeling about the kicker position?
Love both kickers in this spot. I agree with you. Aubrey is definitely the priority over McLaughlin. You're playing a lot of lineups, though. I do think both of them are captain viable, especially Aubrey. I wouldn't go there unless I am playing like a bunch of lineups, just because I think there's going to be a lot of points scored in this game. But I do think they're viable. Aubrey is currently in the one lineup I'm playing. I like both of them a lot. I would probably rank that range of player Aubrey, then Jake Ferguson, then Chase McLaughlin, but all three of them I think are really great plays in the $4,800 to $5,200 range.
Yep, for sure. TJ, I'm not playing defenses tonight. Are you playing defenses?
No, sir.
Okay, over to our good friends at FanDuel, TJ. What are you thinking about there? Like, maybe let's talk through the MVP position, and then we'll get to the flex stuff. But do you have a favorite MVP there? Because obviously, as I always mention, I like to mention this, TJ, because I do think it's important. FanDuel doesn't punish us salary-wise for the MVP. So maybe I like Baker Mayfield a little bit more. Maybe I like Cooper Rush a little bit more, in that position. Who's kind of your favorite MVP there?
Optimally speaking, definitely Baker Mayfield would be the first guy that I'm looking to go to. He can just score in so many different ways, utilize so many different receivers, run the ball a little bit. Baker Mayfield would definitely be my first choice, but in some large field trying to get different, it's actually like it's no different than what I was talking about on DraftKings. Baker would be my first choice. Mike Evans and CeeDee Lamb right behind him. But Bucky Irving, I think, is going to be much sneakier than all of those guys. He's coming in like at almost the same projected ownership as CeeDee Lamb, but I think Irving is going to go overlooked in this MVP spot tonight.
Yeah, I can agree with that. But I do love Baker Mayfield in the MVP spot. But Bucky Irving might actually be semi-splash play. If you haven't signed up for Splash Sports, now is the time. Use the promo code ROTO10, and when you play $100 in quick picks, you'll get another $50. And folks, I don't know about you, but I like burgers, fries, and milkshakes. Sounds like a combo to me. The RG combo is all about value, and that's what DFS is all about. This is the busiest time in the sports calendar, which means it's the perfect time to sign up for RG Combo. For a limited time, you can get your first month of combo access for just $79.99. That's just $5 more than NBA Premium. Don't pass up this great value. And if you like the props and pick 'em, come on, get our expert picks for all of your favorite sites with props and pick 'em. Our elite sports betting and fantasy pick'em package features bets and analysis from some of your favorite RG experts. Props and pick'em also includes tools and data powered by our hardworking projections team. Don't miss a bet without it. All right, TJ, flex position. Who are some of your favorite flexes in for FanDuel?
So the super cheap tight ends don't stand out to me near as much on FanDuel. Like 5K Payne Durham, absolutely you can go there, but it's not as much of a priority for me as it is on DraftKings, where that $200 just does so much for you. I really like both of the running backs prices for Tampa Bay, both Irving and Rachaad White. I think you can play them both together. But Rachaad White stands out as a nice salary on FanDuel at $1,100. Brandon Aubrey and Jake Ferguson, probably my favorite range in the 8 to 900 range. I like them both a ton on FanDuel, would prioritize them over the Jalen Tolberts and such. Brandon Cooks at 95 is fine, but I think I would rather go Aubrey or all the way down to Ferguson to save some salary. My favorite salary saver is probably Turpin at 7,000.
Yep, totally get that. I'm
Peppered
like
at 75 though, totally fine too. I would just rather do Ferguson if I can afford him.
Yeah. Look, I'm really high on Aubrey today. So, if I gotta choose between, I guess, Aubrey and Ferguson, I'm probably going Aubrey. But I'm with you. Like going down to Shepard at 7,500 could pay off hugely if he gets the work. You know what I mean? But I do like Aubrey kind of on the cheap end. He's my one of my favorites. I mean, just his last game with Carolina, that was a slightly higher scoring game. That was 16 fantasy points. He's seen double digits in several games this season. So really like him. All right, TJ, we are going to start hopping into questions. I'm going to try to catch the live stream chat first. And then if there aren't any live stream chat, we will hop over to YouTube. And then if there aren't any in YouTube, we will be out of here. So I don't have any in the live stream chat currently, which is perfectly fine. No problem. I'm going to hop in the YouTube chat. I see Eric Johnson was asking about double Tampa Bay running back lineups. I actually think that's pretty unique on a slate like tonight where they do have somewhat of a price gap. I wouldn't make it like my single entry team, but I don't mind that it's kind of an off the wall, large field tournament strategy.
Yeah, I like it a lot. I was actually trying to do it in my single entry. I just couldn't make it fit the way I liked.
Okay. Let's see. I don't really see any other questions, TJ, because I know we've answered most of them. So
Diego Torres is asking about Miller as a tight end play. Is Miller listed as tight end on FanDuel or something? Because I believe he's a receiver, not a tight end. He's not somebody that I'm getting to at all. No, I don't think he is going to be playing tight end. I think he's just straight up receiver. What's the best cash game plays today? Scott Harris is asking in chat. What site you asking about, Scott? Because it's very site dependent in these always. And then we covered the cooks. So we got to know from Scott. If you want the cash plays, what site are you looking on? We've covered who the optimal ones are on both sites, but you want some elaboration, that's no problem. Just let us know what site you are looking for those cash plays on. Back to you, Chief.
Yeah, I thought Scott was possibly going to post while you were talking.
So I know. I was trying to delay it, and it just didn't work. But
I was trying to
Baker Mayfield, Mike Evans, CeeDee Lamb are guys you're looking to put. You want to get in cash today?
Yeah.
We got enough
Baker
value.
Mayfield certainly on FanDuel. Certainly on FanDuel. Honestly, you're probably playing McMillan for cash on both sites too.
On DraftKings, I don't know necessarily you get there because if you go Payne Durham, you can do the real stars and scrubsy route, and I do think Durham is very cash viable. But on FanDuel, I feel that for sure.
Yeah, totally get it. Well, all right, TJ, listen, I was glad to come hang out with you and talk through this slate as usual. Metro Boom is saying, is Mayfield the best captain on FanDuel? I think so. At that particular price, and just his ability to rack up fantasy points. And Baker Mayfield has actually shown some wheels this year too, TJ. So he's typically picked up a few yards on the ground, which has helped his fantasy scoring. So totally get that. But everybody, thank you guys.
Scott did specify DK. So the one thing I would want to say to Scott just last minute is I would want to be playing the trio of Baker Mayfield, Mike Evans, and CeeDee Lamb. I think you can get all three of them, and then you play Payne Durham as your salary saver, and then the last two spots kind of go from there.
Yeah. Yep. Don't hate that at all, folks. We're going to put some time back into your day. Obviously, this isn't a long show generally anyway, so it's not that we're cutting the show short. I'm just saying, hey, you get to build these lineups up until lock, just like the rest of us. That's what me and TJ are going to do. I'm Chief. That's TJ. This has been the Showdown Pre-Lock Show. Don't forget, you can get your handy dandy charging cord, $9.95. You know, I had to close it out with that. Love you guys. We'll see you back here next week for the Showdown Pre-Lock Show.